Okay, we'll just start the class in the interest of time. Let me record the session. Let me share my screen as well. So I'm not seeing the record option here.
Okay. Reclaim the host, sir. So you are an option. You got an option that
Yeah.
reclaim. Now you can get it, sir. You can check.
Okay. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Right. So hope everyone can see my whiteboard screen. Right. So today we'll discuss about VPC. VPC is so important concept that in AWS this is one of the important service where for network it's mainly used for networking, right? And also it was so complex. The VPC, the concept is so complex, and everyone will get some time to understand this VPC. Okay, so today we'll learn this VPC, and at the end of the class, just let me know how you feel it, right? Yeah, let me start it. VPC. So, what is VPC, and why it's required, why it's important, and the components of VPC, right? Before explaining directly, before going directly into the VPC, I'll tell you why is it required, why was it required, and why, what are the components of VPC. All these things we'll discuss in a kind of story so that you will get to understand easily the concepts and the components and all the things related to VPC you can understand easily, you can correlate easily, right? So there is a huge village. Okay, you can say huge village, or you can take it as huge kind of town. Okay, there are some rich people in this town. There are some rich people who are, see, when you are automatically, when you are uh, kind of rich, you get some lazy kind of, you get some lazy, right? So these rich people want to construct their home. I mean, who they want to give this to contract to someone, and they want them to construct their home. Okay, so what they did, they have like, see, normally when you purchase the land, and what do? You cannot construct. What you will give someone to construct it, right? So in the same way, these people also gave their land, their land to someone to construct it. I mean, to the builder to construct it. So the builder, what he has done? So he has Uh, so he had thought that is a good opportunity, and he started constructing the home here, right? And so how many are you? How many are with me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gathered the requirement from the people, from the vendor. I mean, the builder has gathered the requirements, like how you want to construct home, like I mean, how you, uh, what are the requirements, like for example, how many floors, all these things. He took he gathered the requirements, and he started constructing the homes. So he constructed in such a way that here one home he constructed, and here two and three, like four, like attached things he had constructed in this area, in this space he constructed it. And they told, we don't want to maintain it, you only maintain. These lazy, I mean, these rich people told, see, after construction also, if there are any leakages or anything, you only maintain, we don't want to maintain. So what did he do? So this, the builder was so happy, okay, I'll get the maintenance also, I will only maintain, I will only construct, and I will only maintain, right? And after seeing, I mean, after seeing this, there are some more people, there are some more people who wants to construct their homes also. They want to go with the same builder, and uh, they also want to construct, I mean, they also want that in the same way they want to construct, okay, the same builder. But what happened, these people are pretty smart enough, we can say. They have seen some kind of fault in this, right? They have seen some kind of I mean, mistake in how he had constructed, right? So they told that, see, you are constructing, I mean, you are constructing nicely, and you are doing it very, I mean, you are maintaining it, everything is fine. But we had one complaint, that is security. For example, one guy enters unknown, a random guy enters, and if he enters here, he is able to enter all the homes, which is a security breach. He is able to access all the homes, so which is a kind of security breach. We doesn't want that. So these people told clearly that if you rectify that mistake, then we are happy, right? So then what did he do? The builder, what did he do? He constructed in such a way that, okay, he constructed here, he constructed here, he constructed here, and he created one gate, okay, so that whoever enters the property, whoever enters the property, like you can B, C. So whoever enters the property, they have to take the approval of where, for example, my relative is coming. Okay, he has to take the approval of mine, right? And how can he go to the, how can he go to this path? So there is one guide who will guide him to this path, and here there is one more gate. Okay, again he will get the approval. This A part is there, no, A home. So he will get again the approval stating that, okay, he has to enter my premises. I mean, he has to enter my home, like that. Everyone with me? So everyone understand? Everyone is getting what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So that is how he had constructed in such a way that it was so secure. It was the access is so restricted, right? And everyone everyone has to take the approval, and then they have to reach to the particular house where they want, right? So no one can access without the approvals, or without randomly trespassing cannot do, right? So why is it related to AWS? How it is related to AWS? Let me tell you. So you think this is a region, right? This is a region, and there are some startup companies called A, B, C. There are three startups. Okay, those three companies reached AWS, and AWS here is a vendor. So where we had discussed in the previous class, I mean previously we had discussed, right? So here AWS grabbed the opportunity, and he is a vendor, and he came up with, okay boss, you give me your applications, everything, I will build a infrastructure for you, and you can use my infrastructure. Okay, it's in 2013, 2014. Okay, in the initial times. Okay, you can deploy your applications with me, right? Once you deploy application, I mean in my region, I will take care of it. So what did he do? He created one physical server. I mean he had one physical server, and he had created the VMs, right? All the VMs, virtual machines, he has created, and he had given to all the tenants in the sense A, B, C, D, like who are kind of startups, or who are kind of want to utilize this infrastructure. He has provided the VMs, right? Somewhere the company called the startup or D, they doesn't have that much security, and it got hacked. This VM got hacked, and the hack and what did the hacker does? Like with this VM, he had entered to this, everything, everywhere, and he had hacked the complete physical server. This complete physical server he had hacked. It got hacked, right? So now, in order to come up with the solution, I mean, see what happens uh, if it happens with all the clients and all the servers. If, for example, he has number of physical servers and everything get hacked, so what happens? His reputation will be gone. So then AWS came up with the solution called VPC, virtual private network. Understood? Right? So now you understood, right? So why it is so important. Now AWS came up with concept called VPC. Okay, so what is an VPC? VPC is an virtual private network. Virtual private network. So it's a kind of virtual private network is a kind of networking. Okay. If you can think of networking, what? Networking in the cloud. Okay. The concept is same everywhere. It's in same in Azure DevOps or GCP. Everywhere the concept is same. Okay. So once I explained the concept, I'm not going to explain again in the same what is VPC and the concept. This concept I'm not going to explain in Azure DevOps or anywhere. Okay, so I'm just going, for example, once I explain this, I'll just go through the services and all, right? In Azure DevOps or anywhere. Okay. So just go through this. The fundamental of the VPC, it's very important, right? So in order for you to understand how the application works, how the networking will happen inside the cloud, all these things will be covered in this, right? So now coming to AWS, I mean coming to VPC. For example, you take there is a TCS, and from the TCS there is a project, okay, and this project will be maintained by DevOps people, right? This project will be maintained by DevOps people, and so the project people came to you, right? And they asked you to create an VPC for them, like networking. So how much big you need to create? So there is a concept called VPC you need to create, right? And everything is clear. You will create a separate entity kind. I mean, uh, separate VPC kind of thing, right? With the secured one, everything is clear now. So now, how much big you are going to create, right? So that is where this IP address ranges are came into picture. IP addresses, right? So what is IP address range? So whatever the DevOps guys will create VPC, the first things comes under, like, what is the size means IP address range. For if you say, for example, there is a 172.16.0.0/16 means it will allocate 255 into 255. 255. So I'll tell you the how the calculations in the next class. Okay. So just for now, you understand 255 in 255, it's like around 65536 IPs, right? So you will get around 65536 IPs. You will create with this range, and you will get 65536 IPs, right? So in this 65536 IPs, you will allocate to applications or services or instances, whatever. So whatever you want, this 65536 IPs, you will get it, and you can give to the applications and they will use it, right? So for example, in the TCS, there are multiple projects. For example, you take as payments, cards, transactions, or you take it as Xerox. There will be multiple projects, right? So how do you segregate them? How do you segregate? So if you give this IP range to all the people, right? So how do you segregate between the teams? So that is how the concept called subnet. We have a concept called subnet where it splits the IP address into sub projects. For example, here one project, here one project, here, right? So you will give 172.16.1.0/24, right? And here you will give 172.16.2.0.24. Likewise. So he will get 255 IPs, he will get 255, he will get 255, he will get 255. So likewise, you will segregate the IPs. That is what the subnetting is. Subnet means what? Splitting the IP address, right? Splitting the IP address into the sub projects. So that is what the subnetting is, right? Any doubts still here? Anyone?
No, sir.
Yeah. So if no, so as we discussed previously we have discussed, right? There is one gateway, there will be one gate to enter the traffic, right? To enter the traffic, there will be one gate. That is called the gateway. Okay. You think of an region, any region called Mumbai or Mumbai. Okay, we have around. So now, You think of here, this is the gate. Okay. This is the gate and user enters through this, right? And we have here this called private subnets. So we told, right? So we will be creating a home, right? So these are called the private subnets. Okay. Once the user enters like this is the gateway, right? And once he enters, so directly he reaches here, right? Directly he reaches. What is this? He needs one route that is called the route gateway. Okay. So he will have the pathway to reach to the particular application. So particular subnet we can say, I mean, or particular, particular subnet, or inside this there are multiple applications. Okay. So particular subnet, this is called, we call it as a subnet. As I told, these are the subnets. These are private subnet, right? These are the private subnet, and the user will directly user will directly reach it to the private subnet, right? So in before entering to the subnet, this is the route gateway, and before entering to the subnet, so there is one more gate, right? As I told, there is a one more security layer that is called the security groups. So security groups, in order to enter in one of the EC2 instance, or if you want to enter into the EC2 instance, there is a thing called security groups where here they have to allow either port or IPs. They need to uh, whitelist means what? So they need to either this set of IP ranges they need to allow, or this set of port ranges they need to allow in order to access these applications. So that is what the security group. Security groups are nothing but it's a kind of if they doesn't allow, it get blocked, and the user will enter and he will get stuck here, right? So that is what the security groups are. So multiple security groups are called as NACLs. NACLs. What is NACLs? Multiple security groups. If you have, see, for example, you have the security group here, right? So if you have multiple security groups, that is called the NACLs, right? So NACLs will apply at the subnet level, and security groups will apply at EC2 level, right? There might be it's a just a kind of automation for the subnet security groups, right? NACLs are just kind of automation for the security groups. So user entered this, and there is a concept, if multiple users, for example, if I have 100 users, they have entered. So how do you manage the traffic? So that is where we have load balancer, right? So once he enters to load balancer. Once from the load balancer, he will route the traffic to either of the subnet, either of the application. So once from the subnet, once through the route gateway, he will go to the security groups or NACLs, and from the NACLs, he will directly access the application, right? Any doubts to you? Anyone? No? No. So we had learned about gateway and load balancer, right? This is the route gateway, and this is the security groups or NACLs, and these are the applications inside this. So, and we have some free space here, right? So we have some free space here. So what will be there in this free space? We have the public subnets. So public subnet means what? So public subnets is, so these are private subnets. This is the gate, and we have LB, and we have the public subnet. What is a public subnet? So these are private subnets. Okay, private subnets means we do not have access to the internet, right? So this one is public subnet. So public subnet means which have access to the internet gateway directly. They can go. They doesn't have the I mean, they doesn't have the NACLs. Directly they can access the internet, and they can freely access the internet. Okay, they can come. They doesn't have any security restrictions. But for the private subnet, so you have the all these kind of, they have to pass through the load balancer, however, right? And for the private subnet, they have the route gateway, and they need to have the security groups and NACLs, all these things. And these are much restricted compared to the public subnets, right? And if you can see, everything is isolated, and this one is isolated, this one is isolated, and this one is isolated, everything is isolated, right? And now coming to this one, we have another concept called uh, NAT gateway. So what do you mean by NAT gateway? So we had what and all we had discussed internet gateway, that is this, and we have a route table, and we have load balancer, and we discussed about security groups, and we discussed about NACLs, right? And yeah, public subnet and private subnet, public or private subnet. And now what is left? NAT gateway. So what is a NAT gateway? So NAT gateway is something, if the private, this is the private subnet, and they want to access uh, internet. If they want to access the internet, I mean, they want to access in the sense they want to, for example, inside this application there is a server, and they want to uh, deploy a patch, or they want to download an application, or they want to download a patch. Patch means what? So they want to download, I mean, patch means something, the security package, right? So we can call them as a patch, right? Or for the application, there is an update, right? So for that update also, we call it as a patch. They want to download this. How can they download from the internet, right? So they can download from the internet, but if they want to download from the internet, they will, whoever, for example, there is an x.com, uh, there is an abc.com. So he wants to hit this URL, and he wants to download a package. And when he hits the URL, these people can see the IP of this fellows, right? AWS doesn't want that, right? So if he knows the IP of the private subnet, what happens? They can easily act. So in order to get that, in order to come up with a solution, so they have come up with the NAT gateway, where they will mask the IP before going into the internet gateway. There is a thing called NAT gateway. Okay, they will mask that IP, and they will send outside with another IP. You got it? So when he requested, it will go to NAT gateway, and here the IP will be get masked, right? And they will get, from here it will send another IP to the internet gateway, and they will get the information with the another IP, and they will retrieve the information, and they will come here, and from here it will come. So that is what the NAT gateway is, right? So you got it, NAT gateway. So this is what the concepts of the VPC, right? The virtual private network. Any doubts till now? Anyone? Harish, Meghna, Bharat?
No, no, no.
Yeah. Okay. And so you just go through that doc. I mean, upload the documentation as well. I mean, documentation in the sense I'll upload all the relative definitions, all these things related, internet gateway, route table, all these things. You just go through this because these are bit, it's very important for you to go with the next classes. Okay. The VPC concept is very important and it's very difficult also to understand. Hope you understand with this kind of diagrams and all. Okay, just go through and you'll get all the things. Now we have I mean, we'll discuss about the security groups and the basic difference between the security groups and NACLs, and we'll wind up the class for today. Okay, you just go through, and tomorrow we'll discuss about how the calculations and uh, how can we create the VPC. All these things we'll discuss in the tomorrow's class. Okay, and for today you just go through all these things because it's, if you go through, then only you will get to understand all these concepts. Otherwise, if I go on creating, it doesn't make sense, right? And so I'll just tell you the difference between security groups and NACLs. As I told, security groups are mainly used for mainly used at instance level, and NACL are mainly used at subnet level. Okay, so and both are used for net blocking the traffic, either blocking or allowing. So for both the things, the security groups and NACLs are used, right? And they can ask you the what is the difference between internet gateway and NAT gateway. So internet gateway is something, so it is exposed, I mean, which is outside of the internet. The name itself resembles that internet. If you want to access the internet, that is where the internet gateway is used. And NAT gateway, somewhere the private instances, if they want to use the outside the internet, they need to go through the NAT gateway, right? And we have the route table. So route table, what it does from the load balancer. So there is a thing called in the we'll discuss about that as well. Elastic load balancer, right? We have in we have elastic load balancer, right? So that is what here it is, elastic load balancer. So elastic load balancer is something, uh, it will route the traffic, it will route the requests when you get so many of the traffic, when you get so much of, for example, if you get 100 users at a time, it will route the traffic based on the load, right? Based on the availability, based on the load, it will route. So it's a kind of queue system. You can what is a queue system does? To reduce the traffic, they will create multiple queues and they will ask you to go through that queues to reach your destination. So that is what the load balancer does, right? It will route the request and it will reach you. It will uh, make to reach the destination, right? So that is what the load balancer is. And yeah, that's it. So just go through all these concepts and we'll connect tomorrow and we'll discuss about the remaining stuff. Any doubts? You have 10 more minutes. Just let me know if you have any doubts. Anyone?
Hi, Manganda.
Yeah, Bharat, tell me.
While explaining the concept, can you please maintain each diagram for each concept because it will be confusing if you tell in a single diagram
Sorry,
for all the.
sorry, I did not get your point. What each diagram?
Can you share your screen?
It's already in sharing.
No, we are not able to see.
It. Yeah.
You are covering all the topics in a single diagram. If you see in this image,
It's not all topics, no. See, there are multiple diagrams for story. I have created one diagram, and for this I have created one diagram. Likewise, so all things in one diagram I cannot cover it.
You had told internet gateway in this one only, and subnets in this one only,
Yeah,
and routing in this one only.
yeah. For routing, I cannot create separate diagram. Right? So there should be a user request, and user request should pass through the. These are all interconcept. I mean, interconnected. It's not individual concepts. So to create a separate diagrams and all, like Datura flower log or something like that, I cannot create separate things. So these are all are interconnected.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will be a little bit confusing to understand. So,
Yeah. Just go through the recordings once. Okay. So and once you go through the recordings, then you will get a clear understanding of how it is. So any doubts, if you have any doubts in the class, coming to the technical point of view?
as of now, no, I need to go through recording once again.
Okay, great. Anyone else?
No. Need to move to the concepts.
Yeah, just go through the definitions of what is this. I'll give you the definitions. I'll upload it. Okay, so for all these definitions, I'll just upload it. Okay, just go through them, and you will get to know. I mean, you will get to know the concepts. It will be very easier, right?
I know where you are uploading the documents.
In the where the recordings will be there, we'll upload there only.
Okay. In the application.
Yes. Yep. Okay, guys. Then, if no doubts, we'll wind up the class. Tomorrow we'll discuss about how the calculations, and we'll create a VPC, and we'll see how can we create a VPC in the AWS. We'll just go through that one tomorrow, right? And if time permits, uh, we'll go through the AWS S3 as well. I mean S3 concepts as well. We'll cover.
Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday. Okay then.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy